After 9 years, the UCS Slave 1 is still considered by many to be one of LEGO's best Star Wars sets. But it could be better. The exterior could be smoother. The underside could be improved by changing the Translate blue thruster pieces to orange and adding a seismic charge port. And how about a proper interior? All LEGO gave us was an entry ramp that leads to nowhere. In this video, I'm going to go over everything that could be done to improve this set if you are ready to take it to the next level. Hello again, friends, and welcome back to Slim Bones LEGO Star Wars channel. The UCS Slave 1 project has been a long time coming, and I've had a lot of fun these past few weeks working on it. Before we continue, I wanted to let you know that near the end of this video, the subject of my next video will be announced. It's possible that I'll have another little secret to share as well. To be perfectly clear, while I did make several of my own improvements to this set, from top to bottom, videos from 3 other channels helped a lot to make this model what it is today. Crafted Bricks, Brick Hub, and Brick Battalion. It's important to give credit where credit is due, and I will go over the specifics of each of their contributions along the way. The purpose of this video is to showcase all of these changes in one fell swoop, to show you what could be done if you choose to do so, or even if you should. Do it! Why shouldn't you? Well, there is a big risk that you may be unaware of. If you've been in this hobby long enough, you've probably heard that LEGO used to have a problem with parts quality in some colors. Dark brown, reddish brown, and dark red were all colors that suffered from, sometimes, being brittle enough to break. This problem was supposedly solved by LEGO in 2017, but the UCS 75060 Slave 1 was released 2 years prior. In this set, there are 2 different but significant part types that have only ever been offered once in dark red. 95188, of which there are 6 copies of in this set, and 58846, which has 2 copies. Should you choose to embark on modifying your old UCS Slave 1, and you break one of these parts while either disassembling or rebuilding it, not only would one of these pieces be expensive to replace, you'd be replacing it with another part that suffers from the same problem. Don't say I didn't warn you. While disassembling mine, I did chip 2 parts, but they were both pieces that could easily be replaced. While tearing apart my Slave 1 in November, I took a few pics and videos while doing so. The intention was to completely disassemble it so that it could be rebuilt from scratch with smarter color choices. In universe, the Slave 1 is an older ship that is far from pretty. However, there is no reason why any part of this set should include some of the old traditional LEGO colors like yellow, blue, or red. If you've been following this channel for the past couple of years, you already know just how much this bugs me. Any piece, big or small, should always color complement the build. Check out this bowl of pins, axles, and assorted hardware that came from this set. Now look at it, after I removed the good and reusable parts. These will all be replaced with better and smarter color choices. This is the way. Ah yes, the entry ramp that leads to nowhere. We're going to fix that problem in a few, once we get started on rebuilding this ship better. 2 steps away from Bag 4, we start the build comparison. Green, tan, and dark tan colors have been properly replaced. Ship is already looking much better. LEGO was right to include tan on the bottom, just not in these spots. Using Brickvault's UCS model for reference, we see that Boba's Slave 1 has tan in the center only. Underneath the 4871 inverted slope hides a 1x2 hinge plate which we'll see used later. Now, we've replaced blue, tan, and sand green with smarter colors. Plenty of sand green on the exterior of this ship, but it makes no sense here. All of the central connecting Technic bricks have been changed to light bluish gray and look fantastic. Hardware parts have been changed too, Technic 3L push pins have been replaced with standard 2780 pins here. Lego wouldn't approve of the bending to put these in place, but once the connection is made, the look is cleaner and saves space. You'll also note that the 2x2 bricks with pins and their 2x3 lockdown plates are missing. This will be explained soon. The 1x6 tiles polish this spot off nicely and don't interfere later. The blue axle/pin pieces, part 43093, have been replaced with the alternate part in light gray. This big piece was reworked by BrickHub and split into two sections to make room for the mine layer port and door. This is also the only area of the underside that displays tan colors. A 2x8 plate, which holds the seismic charge cradle, will be mounted in the same spot where the 2x2 bricks with pins originally were. This setup is an excellent design and does not hang too low on the bottom or too high into the above area. I made some minor changes from his seismic charge build, only because the truncated round bricks seemed more accurate to me. Once the cradle plate is put into place, these 1x2 inverted curved slopes help lock it down. The 1x3 and 1x1 tiles help decorate the mine layer port. Then the BrickHub designed section is snapped into place. I made a slight alteration to how the port doors connect, and it worked out great. The underbelly is looking smart, and the smaller section gets put into place. I also tinkered with his original design a bit to get things just right. Here is where you see how the hidden hinge plate is used. The thrusters for all three F-31 drive engines have been properly changed from translucent light blue to trans orange. Flipping the ship right side up will add Technic half bushes to the axles. Lego didn't bother to do this in the original instructions, but there's no way I won't. Added tiles to clean up the light bar for a more polished look. Huge improvements have been made to the bottom of this model. This 1x2 inverted bracket with studs on the side, part 99780, holding a 1x2 grill tile, will be snapped into place. The pinhole plates that originally helped secure the 10x10 dish connection were redesigned by me into a more significant piece. It will properly hold the radar dish's axle while doubling as a decorative section of the Slave 1's interior. For those who don't visually understand this choice, it will all make sense later, and I'm grateful for Brick Battalion's video which guided me in this direction. 2x2 corner tiles help clean up these spots. When inserting the dish's axle into this section, it's important to do so firmly and carefully. You'll also notice a 6x6 dish was added for decoration here. This was an idea I stole from BrickVault's UCS model. Next, we'll add the 12 trans-clear balancing pieces, and I'm going to go into the specifics of several other visual changes I made to the bottom of this ship that haven't been mentioned yet. In bags 3 and 4 of Lego's instructions, there are two snot design sections which outline the front and rear underside of the model. The 1x1 bricks with studs on opposite sides, part 47905, which is where all but two of the trans-clear balancing pieces mount, are in dark bluish gray. The remainder of the pieces in these sections, with the exception of the outside dark red slopes, are light bluish gray. I feel Lego chose the 47905 pieces to be dark bluish gray only so that the builder would have an easier time knowing where to place the trans-clear pieces. I changed all these to light bluish gray for uniformity's sake. Another weird choice by LEGO was the inclusion of all the open studs on the bottom of the ship that have no reason for being there. Almost as if there was originally a reason, maybe, but the design changed and they left these here anyway. All of the 1x2 bricks with studs on both sides, part 52107, were either changed to the one-sided versions, part 11211, or with 1x4 bricks with studs on the side, part 30414, the 4 times these pieces were doubled next to one another. Stuff like this drives me crazy, and I can't let it go. This model looks so much better now with these changes. End rant. Finishing up the bottom of the ship, I added 2 3443 parts to the ends of these decorative pieces, found on both sides of the 10x10 dish. Just before finishing bag 5, we see a drastic difference in the appearance of the model's center. From here, our focus is now on the main entryway. The 3L push pins have been switched to standard pins, which saves space and looks cleaner. The T-shaped lift arm has been replaced with a better color. Come on, folks. We're building the starship of an infamous bounty hunter, not a clown car. While I did keep the 1x2 clip plate for holding the carbonite piece, I replaced the 32028 and 2540 modified plates with standard 1x2 plates in dark bluish gray. We can assume the original design included these for texture or for ease of handling the door mechanism better. That's not necessary. The door can still be handled by pushing from the bottom or pulling from the top, and in Universe, the door is smooth. Next, the original design calls for a 2x3 brick in orange for support. Ridiculous! We'll fill in all the empty spaces with the proper sized bricks and with colors that complement the build. My goodness! At this point, we're supposed to finish the ramp. We can't do that though, because we need to get the other necessary pieces in place before laying the full floor of the interior. We now assemble both pairs of the quadruple lift arm pieces. But we don't mount the left sides in place yet. In fact, once they're mounted on the right side, we'll temporarily push them back and out of the way. Now, we decorate the 2 light bluish gray 2x8 plates with ingots and tiles. These plates are the ones that vertically attach to the top and bottom of the cockpit walls to keep them securely in place. They are usually added much later, but must be installed now while there's still access to the lower mounting points. And these pieces can also be added at the same time to fill in the empty spots on both sides of the upcoming interior floor. So much time was spent measuring and fitting to make this all look and feel right. It's time to install the floor. It's 32 studs long, 8 studs wide toward the front mounting spot, 6 wide in the central interior section, and the top of the ramp is 4 studs wide, as LEGO designed it. Putting the floor in place is tight, but it perfectly fits when you guide it in straight. Get the ramp side in place first, but don't push down yet. Next, we make sure the side facing the front of the ship is clear to be mounted as well. Now the ramp is pushed down firmly. Next, the front side is pushed down firmly, but while being careful to put the pressure on the far sides like so. Looking great. Now we can finally connect the other sides of the two lift arm pieces. It is so much fun dissecting a Lego model piece by piece to make it more suitable for adding decorative improvements. We're well on our way towards finishing a minifigure interior. Poor Han Solo. He's surrounded by dudes that wish to use him for their own gain. Solo's a failure. This is a perfect example of what could happen to you if you're constantly irresponsible. Mr. Ugnaught agrees. The carbonite piece still works as it should. At this point, Solo has no idea that he's moving around in upside-down semicircles. The coloring scheme of the horizontal stabilizer fins is up for debate. The UCS version shows them as mostly tan. The Lego version is mostly light bluish gray with highlights of yellow. Crafted Bricks is comfortable with dark tan being the highlighted color. In the end, I felt regular tan highlights was the right answer. No sticker pieces on the front side of the fins for me. I did keep the axle dark tan and added the 2x2 dark tan tile for decoration per Crafted Bricks' instructions. Also, Crafted Bricks' design for this piece is far superior to the Lego version. Just be sure to replace the 1x4 plates found on both sides here with 1x2 plates and a 1x1 round plate instead. This allows for better clearance with the much cooler looking stabilizer fin. Now, I'm gonna rant about the dark bluish gray 2x2 curved slope on the rear of the fins. Why are these pieces in this color? Especially if you're supposed to put a light bluish gray sticker on each of them. And they sit between two 2x4 curved slopes that are light bluish gray, with their own matching light bluish gray stickers. Clearly, this is all supposed to be one flowing look throughout all three pieces on both fins. I put my middle stickers on light bluish gray slopes. This looks better and makes more sense. Lego, what's going on here? If you ever want replacement stickers for any of your old and discontinued Lego models, I strongly recommend ordering from brickstickershop.com. Their quality is second to none, and buying discontinued Lego brand sticker sheets is expensive. And when they're that old, it's impractical to buy the originals. This will be the only time you hear me endorse non-Lego products for Lego building. The decorating and recoloring continues. This Slave 1 is looking sexier by the minute. So, what lies just beyond the ramp door? Let's turn to the Clone Wars for our answer. Looks like an uneventful room with sloped corners. Perhaps an airlocked area between the outside of the ship and the gyro-stabilizing cockpit? Okay, sure. But I've only got 5 studs long and 6 studs wide to build it. And 2 studs of that width need to be the walls because going any wider would interfere with the clearance of the large rear back panels to be added later. This little build goes here and looks fine. Comes on and off fairly easy too, because I used 2 of these newer 1x5 plates in its construction. Now, we need to add the sliding door that opens into the cockpit. We'll take 2 2x6 tiles, attach them to a 2x4 plate, a 1x2 plate, and a 1x2 modified plate with bar handle, then add 3 2x2 inverted tiles, and these 2 1x1 round plates to the backside. It slides perfectly between the lift arm sections and seats perfectly into the groove in the floor. And yeah, the door and carbonite piece can still move up and down as they should. Looks kinda cool from the outside, too. The cockpit walls at this stage look ridiculous. We see 6 different colors, and far too many studs on the outside, based on the upcoming changes. Since the cockpit will be holding 5 people instead of just 1, which we already know to be accurate, there is no room for the 2x2 slope computers or clip pieces which hold the weapons. This is what the inside of each cockpit wall looks like now. Much more orderly, and 5 studs length worth of computer panels on both sides, and each of those pieces are different. From the outside, the walls are also more aesthetically pleasing. Plus we have exactly how many studs we need to be on the outside, and all those parts are in the same color. The next step, we will build both seating stations, of which were expertly designed by Brick Hub. This station is for the passengers. I changed up some parts from his original design, but the connection and movement still works the same. This piece will connect the seating to the frame of the ship, and must be disassembled first before mounting. First, connect the 1x2 Technic bricks to the inside of each angled downward lift arm. Then connect the 2x4 plate behind them, then add the 2x2 plate, the standard 1x2 plate, and 1x2 plate modified with clips, and lastly, solidify this unit with a 2x4 tile. Turn it into the correct position to accept the bar handle piece that's mounted to the bottom back of the passenger chairs station. There is a decent amount of motion for positioning. Next, we add the passengers. These stunning ladies are now seated and ready for action. You can tell that they are thrilled and honored to be included in another daring mission with the infamous bounty hunter Boba Fett. They know he is tough and handsome, and cool. Now it's time to add Brick Hub's 3-seat pilot station. Plenty of space for all 3 figures to sit side by side in the width of only 8 studs. We see Boba Fett dressed in his classic gear. Not that emo black getup nobody likes. Hot Fennec Shand, and everybody's good pal, Din Djarin. Boba takes the pilot seat because he's the boss. Then his fans climb in behind him. We now position the passenger seats a little lower to make room for adding the pilot station. The gang is all here. Boba has a job to do, and this is his crew. Now it's time to explain all the 1x2 yellow grill pieces you've been seeing. Thanks to Brick Battalion's video for pointing this out and giving me a great idea for dressing up the interior. In Universe, we see this design throughout the pilot and passenger stations, which are both within the gyro-stabilized cockpit. We also see it show up in the Slave One interior scene from Season 2 of The Mandalorian. We finish up the top walls of the cockpit and take another look around. Here, we see that the pilot station can sit upright in landing position, but please be aware that this means the passenger seating needs to be positioned as low as it will go. Also, because of this custom design, the canopy piece cannot be on when assuming this perfectly upright position. The exterior of this nosepiece build looks the same, but it had to be redesigned. I didn't want it to have a floor. Also, that front 1x6x2 arch needed to be removed to allow for head and chair clearance. At first, this reality bugged me. Then I realized that there really only is the one visual round opening seen behind the pilot station, so I got over it pretty quick. I wanted to eliminate the floor piece so it would be easier to see the 1x2 tiles in the background. I'm extremely pleased with how this entire cockpit turned out. We'll now start building the custom cowlings, which mount to the outside of the cockpit walls. This build design was originally created by Charlie of Brickvault over 8 years ago. However, it's Crafted Bricks who took on the tedious task of watching and rewatching Charlie's design over and over again to figure out how it looks and works. I believe he also took some of his own liberties too. Without a doubt, there is a vast difference between how the cowlings and control arms look in comparison to the original Lego build. This custom design is far superior and more accurate. Thank you, Simon, for all of your hard work. Moving right along, we compare the coloring differences of the back spine. There are also color changes made to the Technic gears, pins, axles, and lift arms, as well as some of the plates. This section was finished off with tiling and looks sharp. Overall, the internals of the back spine look far better and more realistic. Now we add the curved slopes. And now, the canopy. Like with last year's Millennium Falcon rebuild project, I took the extra time to color coordinate the inside of the back panels. Smarter and better choices were made. Also removed several plates on the outside of these panels that could otherwise just be tiles. No reason not to, and my, they look sharp. Replace the 4x4 round plates, which surround both of the cannon mounts, with 2x2 elbow tiles. Once again, this only improves the look, so there's no reason not to make the change. So happy with how it's turning out. This may be an unpopular change, but I intentionally removed the weapons rack from the port side of the ship. While it's true that Django's version of the Slave 1 used both of these, reference material and existing canon has yet to prove that Boba ever did. Possibly, that section was sealed off or repurposed when the ship was resurrected after being partially destroyed at the end of the second season of the Clone Wars. Once again, and especially if you made it this far, thank you from the bottom of my heart for following along and listening to me nitpick about every aspect of this model. Please, please, please give some love to the channel's Crafted Bricks, Brick Hub, and Brick Battalion for their very extensive additions to this altered UCS Slave 1. Also note that Crafted Bricks offers free instructions on Rebrickable for his mods, which includes the cowlings, control arms, and stabilizer fins alterations. A quick shout out to viewer QuickKiller4993, who, on 3 separate occasions, starting as early as nearly 2 years ago, requested my take on adding an interior to this set. If you're still out there, Quick Killer, I'm dedicating this video to you. For most of you, I completely understand that the internal changes made to this set are overkill. When the ship is finished and put on display, you'd never see these changes, at least not on a regular basis. From my point of view, I prefer to love every aspect of the model. Why shouldn't it be the best that it could possibly be if I'm comfortably able to do so? Love Lego. Love the build. Love every part of that experience. Now I turn to you, my viewers. Would you be interested in instructions for this entire model or no? It would be a massive undertaking, but I'd do it and offer it for free if you could like and share this video and help to put Slimbone's Lego Star Wars channel up to the 1,000 subscribers mark. What changes would you make to the UCS Slave 1? Hit me up in the comments section. As promised earlier, my next video will be an overview of my Mandalorian minifigure display, which features one of every character that wears Mandalorian armor that Lego ever released. In closing, I'd like to let you know that I also built a Jango Fett version of this set, complete with minifigure interior.
Star Wars! Cold Medina. Yeah!
Lord Vader.